So welcome back to another tutorial, and today you'll be looking at something called parameters. We have a script here. If you go to each properties, you see it's disabled. The opposite of enabled is disabled. But what are parameters? Well, parameters, when you look at a function, let's add a script. We look at a function, we have local function ABC. In these brackets, what do we put in these brackets? From when we look at functions in the first place, we've been just ignoring what the brackets do. But the brackets are meant to hold data basically. So local function making and destroying, and let's print what making and destroying are. Okay, so I forgot to call the function ABC. And what do we put in these? If you were to run the game, you see that it prints nil nil, which basically means these two have no value. So what we're to do is in here we're to put values that represent these. So let's put make in here, and let's put destroy in here. So now when we run the game, you can see that it has making and destroying, because these are in here are parameters. They change like the value of this. So you have some two random values, making and destroying. So this is parameter 1, this is parameter 2. And then in here, you have the value which represents parameter 1. And then the second one is represented down here. So when you run the script, it does both of those. Now, I have two examples in this disable script, which I'm going to enable right now, which is local food items, and we have local player names. So let's just look at local food items right now. We have delicious, trash, and mid. And you want to print what is delicious, what is trash, and what is mid. So what we're gonna do is we're going to, when we run the script, we're gonna type in what is delicious, which is fried chicken, what is trash, which is poop, and what is mid, which is French fries. If you have a different opinion, that's okay. This is just like an example. So when we are to run it, also I'm gonna put these in right here. I'll tell you what those are. You see that it says fried chicken, poop, and French fries, which essentially is telling us that fried chicken is delicious, poop is trash, and French fries are mid, because that's the order it came. Let's look at another example, which is down here. We have player names. So local player name is player 1, names is player 1 and player 2, with the print player 1 and player 2. Now, if you were to remove these, this is called a comment. It's used by two hyphens, and it's basically used to comment out anything. So this won't run at all. It's just there. You can use it to guide you like functions and so forth. So it's just there. It doesn't do anything. So let me remove this now. So player names, which is Noctal and Skillful. I don't know who Skillful is, but I'm Noctal first. It's gonna be player 1 is Noctal and player 2 is Skillful. Then when we run the game, we have Noctal as player 1 and Skillful, which is player 2. Now, to you may be wondering, why don't you just put them up in here? Well, let's just see what will happen. So we put Noctal here, and then we put Skillful here. And now in here we're gonna put Noctal, which is one of his values, and we're gonna put Skillful, which is another one of his values. Now when we call the function, we're gonna have player names, and we run it. You see, we still get nil and nil, which is nothing and nothing. So that means these don't have a value until you state the value in here, which let's just state we can make it anything. So let's make it 12 and 13. I don't know. Let's just make it 12 and 13, and you see that it prints 12 and 13. But so what you may be wondering is what are some uses for parameters? Why do we use it? Well, although you could just print what is like D1 and what is D2, which is giving and carrying, the values of it can change. So we have given, which is equal to given, and carrying, which should be equal to carrying. Now, we have a function, which is the change, which changes the values of these. So given turns to destroy, and carrying turns to kill. So now let's look, when we run it, it changes these values. And when we were to do this one, given would be destroy and carrying would be kill. So in another sense, if this was not to run, you see that it will print what is given and what is carrying. But if these were to run, just like this, you see that it will print destroy and kill. Now what I should have done is put these in this so it's a string and not a variable. Because if we were to print giving and carrying here, it would be like unnecessary. But what if you wanted to print this like over and over again, like how we did with variables? You see, these are kind of like variables. They represent these values. So instead of having to type in print this, print this, print this, print this over and over again, when you're going to use these values a lot, all you really have to do is basically just put them down here and then use variables, which goes in these parameters, to just represent it. That's basically what parameters are. So now that we have gotten the basics of parameters, what I want you to do is just write a few functions like function 1, function 2, and function 3. Oh my days, I typed too slow, guys. So these are my functions 1, 2, 3 with parameters in there. And then what you're gonna do is just basically just use a bunch of parameters to represent variables. Okay, hope you understand something and enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one, I guess.